intimacy goes beyond, having sex with your partner. Intimacy gap is, let's first of all talk about intimacy. It's being known, being seen, and being understood.
Wow. Welcome to Wellness Waves Undiluted. I'm your host, Lika Ahansi.
And I'm Monica Hemben Emunjeze.
Now, today is such a special day because we have not just one guest, but we have two with us. And we're going to be discussing a very, very crucial topic. It's called the intimacy gap. Now, why we chose this topic, the intimacy gap, is because I have been spoken to severally by different people regarding their relationships and the things around their relationships that sometimes lead to divorce, right? And we just wanted to hear from professionals. What are these challenges? What are the little things that can creep into your relationship and it can affect that intimacy within your relationship? So to discuss this very important topic, we have here today two guests. I'm going to introduce Fumi, who is a sex therapist and who has years behind her bag on this topic, dealing with people going through it. And I think we are really blessed to have you on the show today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
And also we have a licensed clinical psychologist, Balogun Oladunjoye. He will also be joining us as we talk about this interesting topic around intimacy.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me here.
Okay, to start off, right? Fumi, I'm diving to you as the sex therapist.
Yeah,
so we're
ready.
starting with you. First question. As people have heard sex therapists now, and all their antennas are all standing.
Yeah.
So I know for certain that intimacy goes beyond just physical intimacy.
Yeah.
So can you just, start off with explaining that, like what could be the triggers for intimacy gap?
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and we want to talk about intimacy gap.
Yeah.
Very funny topic, is it? People like, oh, today we're talking about sex, intimacy. Would you want to teach me how to have sex with my partner and all of that?
Yeah.
But no, intimacy goes beyond, having sex with your partner. Intimacy gap is, let's first of all talk about intimacy. It's being known, being seen, and being understood.
Wow.
Most times we just go like, okay, let me talk about now. Want to go to intimacy gap? Thank you. It is when you don't know your partner. Maybe you'd always do, you've done it before and you don't know your partner any longer. You don't see through her eyes and you don't see her soul. We women, we don't always want just saying, just okay, you're fine. Don't worry, you can go through it. But we always want to hear, I love you. You can do this, being pampered and all of that. So when all those are not there, that is where the gap comes in.
Okay.
Physically and emotionally.
Okay.
So that's that.
So if I may, from your explanation, you'd say that one of the major issues is having that distance in terms of being will I call it caressed, in terms of building your ego, letting you know you look pretty,
Sure.
giving you those words of affirmation.
Yes, that's it.
Right? But what of someone like me now that words of affirmation doesn't move me?
You see, the truth about it is that there must be something that will move you.
Yeah.
That's just it. Everybody has
Your
a
love
weak point.
language,
Yeah,
right?
your love language might necessarily not be maybe clothes, might necessarily not be money, might necessarily not be all these PDA stuffs and all of that. But there must be something that actually moves you. And that thing triggers you. You understand? To want to, be seen and all of that. So that's that.
Excellent.
Okay, Auntie.
Excellent. All right. So, that's a nice way to start off talking about intimacy. But I'd like our clinical psychologist here to tell us a little bit about himself and then lead into this very interesting topic. Balogun.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm very, very glad to be here. What an interesting topic we have today, talking about the gap in intimacy. My name is Balogun Oladunjoye, a licensed clinical psychology. I've been practicing for over 5 years. And my area of specialty, I deal with emotional trauma. I deal with substance use. I deal with family conflicts, to mention but a few. My approach to this problem, to these challenges, is an evidence-based approach such as CBT, DBT, EMDR, to mention but few of them. Now, going back to the topic, talking about the gap, intimacy gap, I would like to conceptualize it with this word. You know, people have always been saying such word like marriage is like a black market. I don't know, maybe you have heard about that.
Absolutely.
You know, they use that word, but let's twist it around. There's something they've observed. There's something going on in their mind. There's something they could not fix that led them to say that marriage is a black market. And I think that angle is coming from intimacy gap. And what do we mean by intimacy gap? It means what you expect, your desire, is not equal to what you perceive. You know, what you want is not going along. I want this person to understand me. And what I'm saying is that he's just about herself. He's just about himself. He doesn't really care. Then there will be a gap. And that gap could be triggered by a whole number of things. And it could be like, oh, maybe he's not giving me the concern I need, the attention, the emotional need I needed. Do you understand? To make everything work. He's not giving him. Maybe it's too stressful. You know, stress spillover.
Yes.
Co-parenting, or let me just use the word parenting, work, all those things, they come in, they trigger. And before you know it, the person starts disconnecting himself, you know, or maybe attachment style, you know. There are some attachment styles that are questionable. I fall in one, but I've tried to manage mine. Do you understand? My attachment style is avoidance. I like my space.
Okay.
So I always like people to understand that I like my space, but I don't want that space to affect my intimacy. That's my desire to be close to my partner. Do you understand? Also the anxious type. The anxious type, they always want reassurance. Oh, you love me, you love me.
Are you sure you love me?
Are you sure? You understand? That's at times it becomes like a thorn is one flesh. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
And that could like affect the bring about intimacy gap.
As a clinical psychologist, you know, therapy or therapists in this climb, you know, because we're trying to at least domesticate or localize this discussion and the impact of culture around some of these topics. You know, we're not very expressive as a people generally. People are not attuned to voicing out the way they feel. So this area of therapy, intimacy, and how you express, you know, from your experience, I know you alluded to the cognitive behavioral therapy and some of those others, but we want to make sure that people understand exactly what we're talking about. So in your experience, you know, in your field, how open are people to actually coming out to seek the help that they need?
Well, let me put it this way. In my practice as a therapist, I could say when we look at the gender differences in seeking for help, we'll talk about a female on the high side than a male, because male are more expressive emotionally than a female. Female are more in the other way.
When you said it, I was about to say what?
Pardon me, that's my mistake. So, you know, the female are more expressive in seeking help than the male. And that is because the culture the male grew up from affected. And when we say, you know, a male is grew up with the consciousness that the male don't cry, you have to be strong,
I've had this
you have to do it by yourself. Do you understand? So unconsciously this gets into them. They grew up with that and they feel, you know, letting go issues from their chest is like a moment of weakness. Do you understand? And they don't want to allude to that. They don't want to be weak before their wife or before any other person. So this drive them and this prevent them from seeking the right tools to navigate life, because therapy is like a tool
Yes.
a toolbox you can use to navigate life. Do you understand? This is
Yes.
what most people or some people in the Western culture rely on.
Absolutely.
And it has always been helping
Helpful.
them. Do you understand? So,
Yeah.
but in African society, we find it as something stigmatic.
Yes.
Do you understand? It's
Yes.
stigmatized. So, as such, seeking for help through therapy becomes a war.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we advocate. We tell them, you know, it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing. You know, it's
Yeah.
okay to be vulnerable. You be
Yes.
vulnerable, you learn from your vulnerability, then you move on.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And
Yeah.
that is how it's supposed to be. Even when it comes to the issue of emotional abuse or emotion itself. Emotion is your feeling, is a wave. The wave gets to the peak, it comes down, it rises, it falls. So in that manner, do you understand? You don't say, okay, when I'm sad, no, nobody have to know that I'm sad. I just have to be strong. You'll be bottling up issues.
Yeah.
And that issues will find a way of affecting you generally and make you dysfunctional. This is where we come in as a clinical psychologist, because the moment where you are dysfunctional, you couldn't carry out the normal function you are able to carry out, then you will need a therapy to help you out, to navigate that.
Thank you very much. You see, I
Thank
think that's making it real for people,
Mhm.
and you know, part of the reason why we're having Wellness Waves Undiluted is to provide a platform where people can express, where you can learn, you can share perspectives, and you can get direction where you need to be.
Okay. So back to you.
Yes, please.
I'm sure you can be able to give us some real life examples of what you mean when you say when you say intimacy is just more than the physical, you know, like examples of people that have, of course, not calling any names, but just showing real stories or true stories of people who have had serious family, maybe breakups or challenges that just started little by little from having this gap.
Okay, thank you so much. So, intimacy gap, it's something that we should quite talk about because it's really affecting families these days. So, I've had an incident with my clients. She was saying that her husband is always, yes, he buys shoes, bags, and all of that, but he doesn't say what I want to hear. He's okay with it, but he doesn't say what I want to hear. Like, I love you, baby. Do you want a massage? Do you want this? You understand? Like, there's this my client. I say, oh, my husband, there's this thing I see in the Nollywood, doesn't smack my bum and all of that. Doesn't spank it and all of that. So she likes it. Okay, so the best way to do that is for you to pour out your emotions to your
communicate.
partner. Make him understand that, okay, this is what I want. Make him understand that this is how I want to feel. He's seeing it as it's normal. I think I'm taking care of her. I'm doing everything I need to do for her. But there's much more to it.
Yeah.
So I told her that, okay, you can express yourself to him. Same you can do just when I'm just cooking like in Nollywood and all of that. You can just spank my bum. I'll be okay with it. Actually, it triggers me.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So people actually wants to. There's another thing that people always feel that, are they the only ones passing through this?
Yeah.
I said, no.
Yeah.
We have tons and tons of people that actually they want to feel seen
Yes.
sexually.
Yeah.
You know, we have people that are passing through, not this intimacy gap is causing a lot of problem as regards to sex.
Yes.
Because it's from there, to that and all of that. So they actually wants to feel seen. So you can pour out your emotions to your partner and everything. So due to follow-up sessions and all of that, well, we're able to overcome that kind of incident.
Okay, so just taking from his point in terms of the male gender being more open to this conversation, right? Because I know that
female
The female gender.
No, male. I'm referring to the male not being open.
Open.
Not being open,
Yes,
yes.
not being
Not
open.
being open.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to get at is, from your helpline, how many male callers do you get
Really? I would say they are very less.
in comparison to the women, right?
Very, 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 very less, because they tend to they don't always want to speak up because they feel that It's a normal thing. I think I can manage it. I can just do with it and all of that. But they don't. It takes, because I understand something about men. They always want you to get to like a tragic state before they tend to open up, which is not supposed to be. So we tend to advocate them, help them understand. There's sometimes I tell my clients, with this situation you're having, I think your partner has to be
part
involved.
of this call, yeah.
So we tend to always bring them. Like from some of my clients, I tend to bring their partner into the conversation.
Yeah.
So some don't even know what therapy is.
Yeah.
They feel that the same way women go to church, let them go to therapy. You understand?
Yes.
The same way you pray, don't worry. I've seen some clients that told her her partner told her that just let's pray about it. God can actually do something concerning our sex life. So which is not supposed to be so. So it's supposed to be a together thing. So that's what I know.
Oh wow, that's interesting, because when you now have male call the helpline, do they really feel that they gained from the sessions?
Yeah, definitely. I've on 2 occasions now, some men have actually come up and say, wow, no, this is actually suiting. This is actually suiting. He didn't know that he could be able to receive such help. He was passing through a case and all of that, via sexually and all of that. He said his wife, let me just put it like, his wife loves, this, she's a sex therapist, I should be able to talk and express myself.
Yeah, go on.
Yes. So his wife liked kissing, smooching and all of that. But all of a sudden, he noticed that his wife doesn't do that. He doesn't want it any longer. So I told him, okay, this is what you should do. You should be able to there's something we call non-genital, sensitive focal non-genital. You should be able to, there's this, I don't know if married people do it. When you stay with your partner, just lie down, pour out your emotions. It helps with stress. It helps with fear. It helps with anxiety. So through that, you can say, okay, is this the reason why you don't want to do this? Oh, we can do it this way. We can't do it that way. So,
Okay.
Wow, that's
All right.
amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing. Please, our guests, I hope people are learning. Learning. Just lie down there and just say your feelings. I would like to ask something, Balogun, speaking as a mental psychologist. Why is it that men find it, not even men, I think with this case, men and women, they find it quite difficult to express their needs? So for a lady relating to sexual intimacy, you would feel that, if I say this, then it's like like the one you said that wants her bum to be smacked. You just feel, he will look at me like if I'm a bit raw, or why would you want something like that? Or you understand? So that vulnerability can be quite difficult.
Yeah.
So what really, what would be your advice? Because I know this is a problem everybody faces. So what would be your advice to become more vulnerable?
So I would like to come this way. So looking at it this way, the emotional vulnerability you talked about, you were saying, if I get you right, you're saying why people are not opening to it, right?
Open.
They are not opening to it. I would like to say this first. The first thing you need to comprehend as to this, if we look at the cultural basis that serve as a perpetrating factor, like supporting factor, that is coming from the male side. Then you also look at the fact that are there underlying issues? A woman that is traumatized will find it difficult to open up.
Yes.
Even a man that is traumatized. Secondly, you also look at communication level.
Yeah.
In fact, that is even the hardened fuel to fire.
Yeah.
Like John Gottman said, he identified some, I think about 4 horsemen that people take as a normal communication, but they are damaging to relationship. He identified them, which is criticism, which is stonewalling, which is defensive, which is contempt. You see those things, we all assume that, when it is in the between a partner,
Yeah.
they are
Can
having a
just say,
conversation,
yeah.
and the next thing you are quick to pick out. Why would you do that? I don't like that. You're always messy. I don't. No.
Yeah.
There should be other ways to, to communicate that need.
Yeah.
Respectful. There's something we call assertiveness training, which we do in therapy, right?
Yeah.
For those who lack that poor communication.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And we often encourage them to use a technique called I statement. In I statement, I feel, then you put your emotion,
Yeah.
then you put your request.
Yeah.
Then it looks more respectful and honorable for such person to sink into your words and follow through.
Yeah.
Not like the one you say, you are that stupid.
Yeah.
Look at how the kitchen is.